In this video, we're going to do a basement walkout from scratch. And to do that, we're going to need an excavator. So we went to the rental works in Annapolis and got one. We could have done this without an excavator. We could have just easily done it by hand. But because we had so much concrete around the property, we needed something a little bit heavier. And an excavator is the perfect tool for that. It picks up all the concrete. You can haul it into one spot, pile it up. We had a barbecue grill to get rid of, pit to get rid of, just a lot of things around that we wanted to get rid of. Also, there was 2 layers of concrete. We actually removed 5 dumpster loads of concrete out of here. As you can see, I am not the best excavator operator, but with patience and time, you will get the hang of it. It actually ends up being a lot of fun. I busted up the rest of the concrete, busted up the barbecue grill, and piled it all up and got it ready for disposal. After all the concrete had been pulled up and piled up, and before taking the machine back, I located where the stairs will go. A rough calculation told me that I needed approximately 8 treads, and each tread was going to be 11 inches wide, so I needed to dig back around 96 inches. Once I found the footer, I determined that each riser will be 8 inches high and I would need 8 of them. Next, I cleaned the wall and marked the opening, which coincided with a window that was already there. But before I could start any work, I had to clean up this mess. I went back to the rental company and got a small track loader, which made quick work of this. Concrete dumpsters are not cheap, and it took 5 of them to do this job. When you order one, make sure you tell them it's for concrete, and there's different prices for clean concrete and concrete with rebarb in it. Once the place was clean, I built a little lean-to roof for my basement stairway and for the opening, and went ahead and got started on the inside work. The next part of the job was the funnest part. It was exciting, but it was also a little scary. Once this part started, there was no turning back. I got some gravel, started getting ready for the putting in the drain system that goes below the footing. The basement stairway is like a big funnel. We have to put in a drain system that will remove any water that lands there. Once I started busting out the concrete floor, the thing that I worried about the most was the foundation, the footer itself. So I made sure that I did not get anywhere near the footer and located the footer before I went any further. The footer cannot be broken or the house will have problems. As you can see, I am beginning my digging away from the footer itself. I want to do a little inspection hole so I know how far the footer travels into the house itself before I go any further towards the outside. I had already chosen the location for the tub that was going to hold the sump pump, and you can see that right there on the left. And now it's just a matter of digging the concrete out and then digging all the dirt underneath and making a hole to run all my plumbing and to locate the tub. It's not all fun and game with tools. Now it's time to get the shovel out and start digging. Once all the digging was done and I was sure that I was under the footer, I went ahead and installed all the plumbing, making sure that there was enough fall into the pit. I didn't cut a hole in the pit until I was sure that there was enough fall. Next came the slab. I made the slab even with the top of the footer. This gave me like a 3-inch drop between the top of the floor and the slab itself. That way rain would not accumulate enough to go into the house. And as you can see, I used plenty of steel to reinforce the slab. I then backfilled the inside and poured concrete on the floor, and then I started on the outside slab. Using 80-pound bags of Saccrete was a lot easier than I thought. Measuring the precise amount of water for each bag was key to making a quick mix of each bag. Now it was time to start thinking about tying in my new walls into my existing block walls. I went ahead and took out all the half blocks and tied in my new wall into the old wall. Next came time to finish the house slab, my basement slab. Brought that out to the outside of the block wall, and as you can see, I used cinder blocks to hold back the forms. During the entire process, I did not use one single nail. I kind of made this process up as I went along, and I realized that I did not have to do the block wall all the way to the very end before I started making steps. So immediately I went ahead and made the first step, which was kind of exciting, and then it got me the foundation that I needed to get started on the rest of it. Then there was a second step, and then things just got a little easier for me. I began to realize that as I went, I would have to continue to dig footers for more wall and steps as I went along. And needless to say, as you go along, make sure you put enough steel in the steps, that you put those points that are sticking up. They're going to hold the next step in place. And just make sure you use enough steel in the steps, and also make sure that the ground is tamped and that it is strong enough to support the weight that you're about to put on it. Do a little research on how much preparation you have to do to lay a foundation or a footer. And some luck does help. As you can see here, I was perfectly level from side to side. I tried my best to do it that way, but it kind of can get away from you. So a little bit of luck goes a long way. After step number 5, I had to do another set of footers, and this was going to be the last little bit that was going to finish out the wall. At this point, I could almost see the end of the project, and it became routine. I would lay a step, lay some blocks, lay a step, lay some blocks, worked my way all the way out of the hole. After all the steps were done, I went ahead and finished up the top of the block wall with some capping blocks. And as you can see, I am not a professional block layer. I think I did a pretty good job. But some of you will probably notice that there was a little bit of a wave in the wall, but nothing that stands out. I think all in all, it turned out pretty good. I then finished the block wall with framing. I didn't use masonry because I didn't think I had to. And then I put glass door, which is one of the best things about this basement is that now I have a lot of light coming in.